that don't know me, in this classroom, I do beginning woods and advanced woods. In prior years, there's been some other teachers in here, obviously. In my third year, still organizing things, going through things that have been left here, that are still here from prior teachers. The room right behind Mr. Torgerson, sorry, is our wood storage, project storage room. And you can make a trail through there. The next room is actual wood storage. When I order materials, I get them delivered, and that's where I store them, and then I lock them for purposes of not having kids run amok and be taking stuff in and out of there. The next room is our finishing room. The last room is an old robotics room that was taught before I got here. On this side of the classroom, obviously we have a couple table saws, chop saw, a joiner. In the back of the room we have some shapers that do certain things, a sander, and that far corner is a CNC router, which I hope to, in the near future, with Mrs. Bull's help, run a class of some sort of designing, a self-design class for kids to do projects on there, where the computer actually cuts everything out. It's a big thing in some other schools. We're lucky enough to have one, which is a lot bigger than most other schools have. Right now, with my school schedule at UMC and whatnot, haven't been able to utilize it. I'm looking forward to doing that in the future. Generally like to keep my classes about 16 people. As you can see, with the amount of tools and the amount of space and the amount of storage space, it's hard to try to teach 20 kids in our CTE classes. So right now I think I have 13 in my first hour and 14 in my second hour beginning woods, and then I have 18 in my advanced woods. Any questions right now so far? So beginning woods is basically an introduction to all the equipment in here. All self-guided, self-designed curriculum. Takes them from beginning of the year to the end of the year. In a normal full year, unlike this year, they'll do projects the whole year that I picked out for them. They'll get a couple little reprieves in there if they want to build something for somebody for Christmas, something like that. So they get a little chance to do a little bit of creativity. Advanced wood is all them, okay? If they don't have something, I find something for them. So if they don't come in here with an idea that they're gonna build something, then they build something that someone approaches me about. This year, we're doing the rails along the hockey arena, where they have right across from the concession stands. We're putting all the pictures of all the hockey teams in underneath plexiglass, and Scott Clevin approached me about it. So I got a couple kids right now that are working on this. So stuff like that, community stuff. We do some community stuff for Red River or Riverview Health, some auctions. We do some cutting boards, some different things for UMC. That's the stuff that I have kids in advanced woods do that are familiar with the equipment in here. Okay, so they can't go to advanced woods without beginning woods. Okay, they can't go into CTE without beginning woods. Obviously, CTE is on the construction site. If for some reason it's storming out, like has happened, we're in here doing something else community-based or something else. I don't know if ECFC. Amy used to cut up all the projects for ECFC. What was that was called?
ECFE.
ECFE. So now I got the luxury of doing that with my CT kids. So there's a lot of things that we get to do for the community on top of the kids' projects. As we get further and further down the road, I hope to add more stuff. Generally, I don't have any quarrels or anything about kids. They're pretty good. They don't have a lot of time to do anything else but work in here. So they show up in here, they work. They don't have time to be on their phones or doing anything else because they're working the whole time. Any questions?
Can I add something with what you said?
Yes.
A lot of times he touched on it a little bit. What I want to share with is a lot of times community comes to us a lot of the time and we do a lot for the community that people may not know about. For example, Sue Dufault had came to us and he built a big project for a storage unit. If we were to go buy something like that, it's $2,000. If we do it, it's half the price that we're saving the school district, and the kids get to do it and the kids get to use it. I've had the city of Crookston come to me to present these awards, and we made a bunch of them using the Woods Lab and our laser engravers. And they said, how much? And I looked at them, I smiled, and I said, well, we have a lot of kids that can't afford their projects. If you could donate some money to the school, I said, I can charge you how much it costs, but we would appreciate that. So they came and gave us a check, and we were able to give kids to take their projects home. Because at this point in time, we're getting more and more kids that can't afford their projects when they do them to take them home. So there's a lot of things that happens in this room, and Mr. Geffrey's room. We'll get stools that break or chairs that break, and the teachers come in or people come in, can you fix this? The community will contact us outside of ours, can you fix this for us? And we're like, and usually us three, somehow we get together, we talk about how we're gonna fix it, and then we send kids on it to actually go fix it. So it's a good thing that we do outside just for the kids and then outside into the community. But I just wanted to add that to let you guys understand that there's a lot of times that happens. Geffrey, do you wanna add on that? You good?
My room.
Okay, very
So
good.
yeah, I mean, there's just like a lot of activity in here all the time. Of course, safety is the key. Initial first part of the class is kind of monotonous. You know, the first quarter or so, roughly half the first quarter, is mostly safety and practicing on the equipment. When we do create scraps and stuff behind Mrs. Narvaez there's just a sample of like a Scrapwood, Minnesota. We're gonna go into that after we get done with our nightstand project. We're gonna be going into burning up the scrap wood that I can, cutting boards, different things like that, because we all pay for it and we need to use it up as finely as possible. So besides sawdust, I try to use up everything that I can to stretch our dollar as far as we can, and then show the kids that not everything is garbage, or I don't burn stuff unless we have to. So we try to use up everything, go through all the emotions of developing that, and then constantly, I'm always trying to think of new things, what kids are doing, what's coming along the pipeline or something. Last year we did a bunch of little Bluetooth speaker boxes. Some kids show us to build them. Take it on a pontoon. You can take it on, anywhere. And it's pretty much undamageable. It costs like $6 to make with the material, and it's something that's scrap wood. Okay, so if there's any ideas from anybody else that has stuff like that in the pipeline, always come talk to me. Usually here. Unfortunately, I won't be here past January this year, but prior to that, I'll be here. So, yeah, I don't have anything to add, I guess. Any questions?
Is this the same stuff that we used at the old high school?
I'm not positive. I know all
No,
this.
okay.
The 4 lathes back there. So we do a lathe unit right by Mr. Fee there. There's the first lathe project is just a small bowling pin that the kids make by gluing scraps together, and then they have to turn it into their rendition of a bowling pin. And everyone's last year, none two were the same. So, which is fine. But just to get practice on it. That stuff's all pretty new. The only thing that's in here that I can't say I don't remember that planer right there. It's gotta be from like World War I. World War II. It's a pretty old planer, but I don't use it a lot. And it does a fine job for what I use it for. But everything else I think is relatively new, and I try to maintain it as best as possible. Cleaning stuff and everything. Of course, in the summer months, coming in here, cleaning stuff out, greasing things, changing out saw blades throughout the year, making sure saw blades are sharp for the kids, stuff like that, so that we're not cutting on crappy material or crappy grab a piece of equipment, so.
So do they ever use like distressed barnwood or any of that stuff?
Yes, kids bring it in, right behind Mr. Dufault there's a slab of black cherry. That's gonna be, if you get time tonight, Google epoxy river table. That's what that's gonna be on the backside. So right now we've gone through the motions of turning that slab into all the different parts of a dining room table. So the front side is actually the live grain. Whatever kids can come up with, if I can access material, or come up with a plan to do something, then yeah, we'll definitely do it. Of course, it has to fit into the time frame. Right now in Advanced Woods, I got 4 gun cabinets going on. If you just take a peek down this hallway, there's all sorts of projects out of walnut, hickory, stuff like that. I got a couple TV stands happening, a lot of cutting boards kids are making for Christmas presents, stuff like that. And generally, it's out of material that I get piles of it, cut-offs from stuff, and we just try to use it up. Just try to design something or make something that the kids can take home eventually. And I'm not stuck with 500 boxes of scrap wood. So we're always trying to think of, go on Pinterest or Etsy or even Google Images or something and find scrap wood this, scrap wood that, pallet stuff. Whatever kids can bring in, if we can turn it into something, we'll do that. So.
All the equipment in here was bought prior to when Trosted came over. There's a switchover. The saws are pretty new within the last 5 years. They're the stop saws where if you cut anything moisture, if your hand goes over it or running, it locks down and it shuts it off so the kid can't chop their fingers off or cut them off. And that's high-end technology that we have been able to do it. A lot of schools don't have stuff like this, and I think this is a good thing that we put out to draw kids in, because I know certain schools do not have access to all the stuff that we do, and I think it's fantastic. He was talking about the shaper machines. Those are under 5 years. Those raised panel doors that you guys have in your cabinets, they can make them here. That stuff, bigger machines that they can use, that we can tap in and help out our community and the kids learn how to do stuff like that. So there's a lot of technology in here. The corner machine, I know that was because I used to work for the company when they had bought it, but that was like $15,000, and the school was able to get that and use it. And like I said, there's not a lot of schools that have access to this, and I think it's a fantastic asset for Crookston to have stuff like this.
Before I was a teacher here, I actually came in with Mr. Trosted and cut that M out on the CNC router, so that's a long time. That's a lot of measuring to do if you were trying to do that by hand. All I had to do was draw it on AutoCAD and it cut it out. So very good luxury to have. Think of like a lake cabin or signs like a lake view or something, or the city of Crookston signs coming in to town, stuff like that. Very easy to do on a CNC router. Once it's set up and kids are familiar with the programming and what goes into that, and then clamping it down and actually creating something, a template or drawing it. Not that out of the realm possibility of creating those things. A welcome sign or sign with, you go to like the Renaissance Fair or something, and you go and you want a sign that says the Millers. They print it for you, probably what, $80? Something like that, I don't know. It's probably actually about $9 in material. Okay, so $71 of it is the labor of that person paying for their equipment to do that. So a lot of opportunity. Just up to the kid. If let's say Mr. Crispy's son Blake wanted to build his dad a whole new kitchen, and he had a couple friends that wanted to do that, if the time allowed, we could do that. It would be, it'd be advantageous to probably work on that during the summer and figure out what he wants for cabinets, but that way material was here, we could build a whole new kitchen for him one piece at a time. You have to want to do it. It's not going to be Travis Oliver building in the kitchen, it's going to be Blake Fee with the assistance of Travis Oliver. Or
That's scary.
that's an example I can give.
We have a lot of ground to cover, so we probably should keep moving on.
Oh yeah,
Thank you so much.
no problem.
Small engines is taught over there. You can see some engines and stuff laying on the tables. Usually what we do is the first quarter and a half, each kid will have a Briggs & Stratton engine they'll take apart. We'll go through each system of the engine from carburation to ignition to compression. They'll understand the whole engine, how it works. And they'll put it back together and their final test in it is, does it run? Okay? If it doesn't run, they gotta troubleshoot it, find out what's wrong with it. Then they start bringing in their own stuff to work on, as long as it's a twin cylinder or smaller, no cars or anything like that. So smaller engines they can work on. When we get done with that, then we start talking about alternative energy. We do a little unit in wind power. We'll put together some wind power things and test them with fans to see what kind of voltage, how can the fan design affect wind power. We'll get a little bit of solar power, put together some solar power things. We've had kids do little hovercrafts, and actually ones you can ride on with a leaf blower. So we do a little bit, yeah, it's a lot of fun. We'll do it in the hallway this year maybe. But, and then kids can actually do little mini bikes and go-karts as well if they want to for projects. We've had those in the past as well. Some kids with chainsaws, use a chainsaw to make a little mini bike with a chainsaw. So that's kind of the engines transportation part is over there. Welding is, and machining is over this part. We're fortunate enough to have quite a few arc welders in here. We have access to have 10 people be able to arc weld at one time. We have 3 TIG welders to do stainless, aluminum, tungsten inert gas welding. We have 5 110 wire welders to do small, thin wire welding, and we have 3 larger wire welders to do larger wire welding. So a lot of different welding units. We have milling machines here and lathes back there for the machining part of the unit. Our sheet metal is over here. We also do a sheet metal unit. We tell the kids also that when they talk about jobs leaving the country and going all over, these jobs don't go, all right? You can't send your car to Japan to get fixed, okay? It has to be fixed here. Same thing with plumbers, electricians. So there's a lot of in-demand jobs. We really would like kids to understand there's a lot of in-demand jobs here for that. We've also started to get a little bit more into the high-tech part, and that comes to a lot of transfer with Travis's class as well. There are kids that will do a project in Travis's class that want to do an addition to it to make it look better. We'll bring it over here, we'll laser engrave on it. We'll custom it with something with a laser and laser engrave it. The plasma cutter we have that's not worked out. Travis has someone in line that's supposed to come in and take a look at it. Right here, this is a CNC plasma cutter.
There's a few samples in the case behind us.
Yes, you can look at stuff in the case with plasma cut with this. What it is, it will cut metal. Whatever you design on a computer will cut. We've got University of Minnesota Gophers. We also have the old Sioux logos as well before they were the change of name. But you can plasma cut anything. We've had kids plasma cut things and place them into their wood objects over there, like maybe a coffee table. And there will be a metal cutout laid on top of their wood and then glass on top of that. So there's a lot of crossover with what we do. And this is when we want to get running again. It would be really super to get it, if not something similar or whatever. That happens to be, that's a trainer right there for electrical. What it does is it teaches kids basic electricity. What you see, there's 2 sides to it. And I do a little bit with my 9th grade with that. When Amy and I do CAD drafting with the 9th grade. So we'll do a couple weeks with the 9th graders with that. Basically, how to wire in switches, 3-way switches, outlets, doorbells. It is safe, don't worry about it. We have everything ran on 12 volts. Okay, so we have 12 volt light bulbs and stuff. We don't let the kids access 110 because they may not live to tell their parents about it. So we try and keep it as safe as possible, but that's a really important thing for kids to understand. If they can change their own outlets and understand a little bit about electricity is kind of really important. So we give them a little brief background in that. Other than that, like I said, try to keep it brief. But we do also things like Amy says for the community. A lot of community people that come in ask us, questions more than anything else, how to do something. We've had people come in just to pick our brains as far as something they want to do. And as well as a lot of people in the school district. I mean, there's a lot of things that come in here that we'll take a look at. And the nice thing is when that happens, we'll get something in here, it's like, this is broken. You lay it on the table and you ask the kids, how would you fix it? Because now they're trying to problem solve. It's amazing what kind of ideas you'll come up with the kids how to fix something in different ways. They're not always the wrong ones, just a different way to get there. So it's kind of nice to watch the kids' brains try to figure something out and how to put it together. So if you have any questions, I said I try to keep it brief. We'll walk you straight through this way. As you go through, you'll get a chance to see our 3D printers in there. There's a few 3D printed objects sitting in there as well. If you're not familiar with 3D printing, basically, if you design on a computer, the nice thing about 3D printing, you can design it, you can probably build it. Because if you think of laying down layers so thin, like your hair thickness, you keep layering, and you eventually get it built up to where you get an object. So you just keep laying down small amounts. So an object might take 2 hours to make, all right, because you're laying down such a small part. But by doing that, you can have holes on the inside and different things that would be impossible to machine. 3D printing's come a long way. You probably have already heard a lot about it. It's in the medical field all over right now. 3D printed casts. There are surgeons that are using it to little infants' hearts that need, fixing. They'll scan that baby and they'll 3D print the heart outside the body, and the surgeons practice on it before they go in to cut the time in half what it takes to do it. So there's an incredible amount of things that are going on in that field as well. So the technology is changing a lot. So we'll walk you through this way, and if you want to walk through, I'll kind of take you to the CAD room next door, and you can kind of see that as well.
Amazing. Never seen this room so clean.
For World Stuff, there's been many kids that have learned the program here and then did some drawings for people in the towns and actually got some jobs and stuff out of that by drafting. I have a lot of people that in the community, if they're doing a drawing or a floor plan of something, they'll contact me and say, hey, can you draw a floor plan for us? And so then we drop a quick sketch of their house, which saves them a lot of money by not hiring someone to do that. So a lot of things that we do in here. The other class that we have is a Pirates Cove class, and I noticed the pairs are all wearing their shirts that the students had made. They came to us and came up with an idea, and our students turned it loose and started designing different ideas, and then we make them. Right back here is the actual machine that prints on them. We have a screen burner, and then we clean the screens back there, and then they go through a heater, and it's set in. It goes to like 420 degrees, and then it locks the ink in there. We do have a store that we had been open, then have been closed for a while. For the last 3 years, we reopened the store. The first opening will be at your concert, your junior high concert. That is happening on Monday. So we're getting prepared. That's why these are all pulled out. They'll be up for sale. We do try to sell them relatively inexpensive because kids make them, and we want to get it out into the community to show the school spirit and stuff like that. There's a lot of other things we do besides t-shirts. That eagle sign that's posted out there that has the arrow pointing down, we actually designed and cut it out on our vinyl cutters. We have a big vinyl cutter back there, and then we got a vinyl cutter, a smaller one back here, and it cuts out vinyl, and the vinyl is actually like stickers right over there. You can see a bunch of stickers. That's something that the kids have made, some stickers. We do stickers for car, we can do stickers for your wall, we make big huge signs. The Snow Sled Inn has a sign that was made by us. All the signs around where it says, those banners that are hung in the gym when they post up the kid, win subsections, we do all the cutting and stuff up there, so it saves money. And so it's pretty neat, actually. She just came to me a week ago or so and wanted me to do some shirts for their Euro trip to help advertise for kids that are trying to raise money. So we came up with a little bit of a design, and kids help. This particular one, her and I went back a little bit forth. And so then we're going to order shirts, and they'll be able to advertise them. And again, we try to sell them reasonably cheap so they can get out into the community. Some people come to us and they want to do a fundraiser. So then we get them cover our cost, and that's about it. And then so it's paid for, and then they go and make the profit for, Euro trip or music or whatever they're trying to sell the proceeds for. We do profit some money in our class that we do, and we use the money to help furbish things such as different machines in their area, different machines in our area, but it's all driven by the kids and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, and anybody in the community can contact me and say, hey, Christmas is coming, my grandma likes this, can you make a personal shirt? And we've done that many times for people. Again, I always say, we're working with kids. you gotta give me some time to do the designs and stuff like that, and then we usually, put them out there and, do a lot of things that we do for the community, and, yeah. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? I'm gonna get lots of projects now, aren't I? Yes.
Okay, anyway, I know that you've only saw a small snapshot of our school, and a lot of you have been through it as well, but